both of us. What's going on, man? How are you?
Chilling like a villain.
Chilling like a villain. What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday, or as I always say, happy New Comic Book Day Eve, or as we'll be maybe talking about, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 dropped last Thursday. You, myself, BC, we've all seen it. We've all watched it. BC actually got like a special screening or something like that. So he actually went to go see it like even before anybody
he's
else.
seeing it right now.
Yeah, and he's going to see it tonight, right? That's why he's not here tonight. But we got a fun show, good show. BC or Rocksteady, I usually always ask you guys, but I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off. I think this week is pretty slow for New Comic Book Day. I think it's not as exciting as, say, the last 3 or 4 have been. Spider-Boy first full / second appearance last week kind of made everybody go crazy. The Star Wars 34 as well, but I think it's a pretty slow week. What do you think?
Yeah, it's tough to keep up that track record, right? Like there's been a wild book, like even New Comic Book Day, like there's been spikes all over the place. So yeah, we haven't chatted for a while, so I think that's going to be a hard act to follow up, and I think it's going to be kind of slow for everyone. The calm before the storm.
Yeah, and we've talked about it. I mean, we kind of touched on it last week with, is New Comic Book Day fun again? And I mean, it can't always be fun. I mean, for the read, yes. For the read, Phil, 100%. But when you're looking for like that excitement, that flip, that investment, all that, I mean, it's a little tricky. It's not, every week. Now, of course, we also had Rocksteady. I don't know if you were able to get a copy, but Free Comic Book Day also happened this weekend, and folks were going a little crazy. There was a lot of books selling. I saw just all the books that I had at the shops, I saw on eBay going for like $7, $6, a few going for $8, which is insane. And then of course there was that not GameStop, but it was like Spider-Man 2 #1. And it kind of had the villain, or what will be the villain for the new Spider-Man game that's coming out in the fall, if I'm not mistaken.
Or the game,
yeah. I sold mine. Like Big B gave me mine on Wednesday. I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, cool, thanks. And then I saw everybody posting about this book on Saturday. I think it was Furbird that actually posted that it was going for $30. I had showed you guys, and then I was like, yeah, I'm flipping this. I could care less. It's not a $50,000 book in 10 years, so I'm good with it. But yeah, I sold it, and it's funny because now I looked at the prices now, and it's I think at like $12. I think I saw somebody sell for $12. So
yeah, like I want a copy, but I was busy on Saturday, so I didn't get around. But yeah, like Free Comic Book Day, like even that Blade's Daughter one or whatever, like I remember it's just FOMO, right? Until you realize how many are out there. And then
there is
come back to reality. I'll grab it for $5 from a show in the next year.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest video game guy, so like I don't really care. I know you're more into the Miles stuff than me, so like I could see why you would get it. But yeah, I don't know. It was just interesting. I thought it was hilarious. From Saturday, I sold it for 35 Canadian, and then now, 2 days later, it's at like 12 or 14 bucks. Like I kind of feel bad, but at the same time, if somebody's wanting to get on the FOMO, by all means, like I'm not going to stop you. So it is what it is. But yeah, got a slow New Comic Book Day. We got some nice news, but before we get started, Rocksteady, let's say hello to the people in the chat. We've got Newbie Comics taking the gold. Newbie Comics taking home the silver. Newbie Comics taking home the bronze. I kind of like
Newbie Comics must have had the afternoon off.
Something camping out. But in all seriousness, TKO is taking it home. He's got the gold medal. What is going on, TKO? Mr. Brandon's in here. He's taking home the silver. And of course, the man, Dan, I think you've taken home a medal like every show I've ever had. But you're taking home the bronze for the USA. And looky, look what we got here. I'm here to learn about YouTube Shorts at Newbie Comics. Yo, look in the mirror, man. Look in the mirror.
Your name should be YouTube Shorts and Sandals.
You know what? I kind of dig that.
Yeah.
But Spines is in the house. Mr. Sith is in here. Now, guys, I'm only gonna bring it up one time, okay? Don't talk about NHL lottery draft with him. Just let him heal because he's an Anaheim Ducks fan. And last night, Chicago basically somehow passed two teams, and Anaheim got screwed again. Now, I will say this. The last time Anaheim got screwed in a draft and had the second pick overall, Sidney Crosby was taken first overall. Make what you will, but just throwing that out there.
The second pick in this draft is supposed to be pretty good. Big centerman.
Well, hopefully they get him. Like I said, I was talking to Sith today, and I was saying, I messaged him being like, dude, I can't believe Anaheim didn't get it. Anaheim small market, Anaheim, kind of Hollywood-ish, like they could build it like that, and they decided to give it to Chicago. I just thought it was kind of interesting. I didn't think he was going to go to Columbus, but hey, nevertheless, he's got a team. Chicago Blackhawks, I saw on TSN today or Sportsnet, ESPN, whatever you watch. Chicago Blackhawks have sold $1.9 million worth of season tickets for next year already. It's insane because they haven't even drafted them yet, right? But like, not to say they won't, but at the same time, it's like, what if they don't even draft them?
It helps to move on from the team, right?
Yeah. Kenneth is in here. Hi to everyone. I hope everyone's okay. Mr. Joseph, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to. Nicholas is in here. Collectibles to Astonish is in here. What's going on, sir? RP's in the house. Surge. Yeah, and that's what he was saying all day. He's like, man, it's rigged. It's rigged. Well, I knew he wasn't going to go to Columbus, and I had a hard time believing they wanted him in Anaheim, but it is what it is. Hello, everybody in the community, in the comic book community. Hello, Newbie and Rocksteady. Well, let's get it going. So here's the deal, guys. Me and Rocksteady have seen Guardians. A few people have already. I went yesterday, which is unheard of for me. I usually go the opening day. But we're going to get through New Comic Book Day. We're going to get through some news. And then if we got time, let's talk Guardians because a lot happened. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the movie. I haven't put a grade out yet because I don't know how I feel. And I feel like regardless of what I put, I'm just going to break people's hearts. All right. Let's get the show going, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got show 126. New Comic Book Day. Greg, what do you think? What are you thinking for Dynamite Pick of the Week? Do you think it's cleavage or do you think it's like movie poster? What are your thoughts?
Since you're asking, you want me to accuse you of sexy pictures. So I'm going to guess you went with some Disney stuff.
Ooh, close. I went with Gargoyles.
Gargoyles is Disney.
Yes, but it's kind of a little bit of cleavage, I guess, or curves, I guess, depending on how you see it. So Gargoyles 5, cover R. It's the Virgin. I picked this one just simply because, well, I mean, like, look at her. Now, here's the thing. I remember watching Gargoyles as a kid. I was still at that age where I didn't really speak full English at the time because I didn't start learning English until about grade 4. So I kind of watched this kind of like half not knowing what was going on, but I always thought that this cop was like, she was like cute, even though she wasn't a redhead. She was cute. She was, whatever. So I saw this one and I automatically jumped on it. I wouldn't pay $50 for this, but for some of the other covers that were out, I'd probably say this is probably my Dynamite Pick of the Week. Do you know what her name is, by the way, Greg?
Because the bad guy, I forget her name.
The bad guy always reminded me of like a Tony Stark kind of guy. If he went
very much the goatee, the pencil mustache.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Lex Luthor, Iron Man clash. Yeah, but her name, she was the police officer. I don't remember her name. Maybe somebody in the chat can
they confided in her.
But for whatever reason. Now, okay, staying with Gargoyles for a sec. There was an episode where they showed how Isla. Yeah, Eliza.
That's it.
All right. There was an episode that I always remember where they're talking about how back in the day they went into this like castle thing and then it was daytime, so they became gargoyles, whatever. And then these soldiers came and killed them all. And I remember like that episode sticking with me, and I thought, damn, that'd be a shitty way to go. Like, imagine being an actual gargoyle, like, oh shit, and then you're a rock, and then your enemy just comes and he just beats the shit out of your whatever. Like,
it's kind of amazing it didn't happen sooner.
Yeah, I would hate to be a gargoyle. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, this is my dynamite pick of the week. $50. I'm not paying for it, but who knows? Maybe you see it out there. Not a bad grab, especially if you're a Gargoyles fan. I think it's a good one. All right, let's get into it. New comic book day. First up, let's start off with some DC. So we've got Joker Incorporated. So this is first appearance of Joker Inc. Now, similar to Fantastic Four, the car and like their base, similar to Oscorp, similar to the Avengers like all these buildings or whatever. Usually they don't translate into much, like say spec wise or anything like that. So I wouldn't jump on that. I think it's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. I think I'm gonna pass on this, to be honest with you. Not something that is up my alley, not something I want to read. So for me, it's a pass.
Yeah, it might be fun to read, but I don't think it's like a spec play or anything. I don't think any of that stuff carries any weight except like early, like first Batcave or stuff like that, right? First mention of whatever base. But yeah, for a modern book, I don't know. It kind of intrigues me to read, but beyond that, I don't think it's something to grab and put away.
It intrigues you to read? Why?
It feels like they finally are going a different direction with Joker. Like I enjoyed Joker in like the animated series, stuff like that cartoony Joker. It just felt like it and darker and darker, and it just wasn't enjoyable, and it was very predictable. So I stopped reading Joker stuff altogether, Harley Quinn stuff kind of altogether. But this is different, and I like that.
Okay. Interesting. Hulk, smash that Canadian like button and stick around. You might be learning something. Andre, I appreciate that, man. I really do. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm gonna pass this all together. Like, I'm not interested in the read. I'm not interested in the run. I'm not interested in Joker Inc., Joker, whatever. But if somebody out there can grab onto what Greg said and think to themselves, you know what, I'm gonna buy it now, then we've done our job.
If we've completed more, we've done our job.
Yeah. Greg, how many of those Disney variants do you have? I think there's 3 so far. The Goofy, the Captain America homage, and then the Hulk homage. No, yeah, Infinity Gauntlet, Hulk homage,
and the Avengers.
And the Avengers one, yeah. So 3. You grabbing this one to kind of finish the set, or as we know, as we're getting into closer to the summer months, there's more coming out. Do you think maybe the hotness is over, or what are your thoughts here?
I have 0 of them.
Oh my God. Okay.
All right. I just feel like there's so many out there. I'll get them in a collection, or I'll get them as a throw-in in a trade or something like that, where I don't feel they're all still at the shops from what I've seen, like every single one. And I
think the hardest one to find is the first one, the Avengers, the Spider-Man 17.
Correct. Yeah, but I see like the Goofy one and
I will say this, Greg, and you kind of have always told me about modern books and print runs, and we talk about it, especially when we talk about.
Dude, you might lose me here.
What?
The computer's gonna restart.
No, I'll hold it down. I'll hold it down.
Yeah.
But with this one, it's interesting, and yeah, Greg, you come back. Don't worry, you're frozen with a smile. But with this one,
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Shoot. I thought you were leaving. I thought you were frozen.
No, it's going to die soon. It's silly. It restarts. It's a work computer.
Goddamn work. I was going to say that the other night, I think it could have been yesterday, I was looking up Facebook Market and some of the comic groups that I'm in, and literally that homage Avengers one, there was a guy that maybe had like 30 or 40 of them, CGC'd already, 9/8. They were going for about $80. Like, it's not a hard book to find. Then for whatever reason, I was like, hey, I want to go check out like kind of how they're selling on eBay. man, there's so many pages of this book. Like, not even the Avengers one, just like all of them. So I don't know, for an investment reason, or because I hear it all the time where people are like, oh, I'm picking them up because this is going to be worth something like down the road. It's like, I don't know if it will be, because there's just so many goddamn covers. And now we're getting like Captain Marvel and Iron Man one. I know the Iron Man one I think is next in June. And then Minnie is like Captain Marvel or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if I'm going to pick this one up or rush to it. I don't know. That's how I feel. Also, Minnie on the right hand side there looks terrifying. I don't know if you guys have kind of like zoomed in, but like she looks terrifying. All right, Greg, you're gone. So it's just me, but we've got intro or Extreme Venomverse. So this is the introduction of Venomverse. So we're getting new characters, new this, new that. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I could really care less about this one. I know a few people are grabbing it. I know a few people were trying to convince me to get it. I'm going to pass. There was the Gwenumverse stuff. There was this Spider-Gwen stuff. There was this one. I don't know. I'm just not into it. I like Carnage. I like Venom. Just not digging like when they go too deep and kind of make all this stuff up. I don't know. No first appearances that I am told of. Just an introduction of what's to come. So who knows? Maybe a second issue, maybe a third issue, or maybe last minute they throw something in. I don't know. Empire's in here, so maybe he might know. But yeah, I'm kind of staying away from this one, unless it's an ASM 300 or 361. Kind of not touching the symbiotes. Maybe Null. Venom 3 is a good one. Underrated, modern for sure. Greg, are you ready for tomorrow? Leafs in 7, neighbor to the north. Shame on you, sir. Remember, we want Florida. 3 words that were screamed all around Toronto, and now you guys are down 3-0, man. Whew, it's tough. My Rangers are out, so I can't say much. All right. Now, you guys knew I was going to talk about this one, but come on. So I am Iron Man. So we got an Iron Man, and we've got a first appearance or first Shogun armor. So I don't know. I haven't really done too much research into this one. If that's the new armor on the cover, I think it looks terrible. I'm not really digging it. I'm not digging anything about it. I'm not digging the green. It kind of looks like there's like trees in the background. Like the art just itself is not easy for me. I could care less about the armor because let's face it, if you're an Iron Man fan, you definitely want to get like obviously the early issues where they change the armor. There's the space suit, all that stuff. Those are way cooler than whatever the hell this is, man. I don't know. I'm just not digging this one. Mr. Empire saying you have the first Eddie as Spider-Man and stuff like that, but nothing major. Yeah, and I think BC had touched on that last week or 2 weeks ago when we were kind of talking about it. So, and of course, as we talk about Iron Man, Rocksteady joins us once again.
Super disappointed I landed at this book.
Oh, come on, man. Dude, listen, in 10 years, the 9.9 CGC of this book is probably going to be a $5,000 book.
Yeah, for sale on eBay by that crazy guy.
There's always that one guy that just puts prices like super ridiculous. There was a book the other day I saw, I think it was like X-Men 1, and the guy wanted like 800,000 for it or something like that. And I was like, what? I've got like 10 of these. Phil's in the house. Go Leafs. Shh,
why do you got to bring that up?
Well, you missed it. Neighbor in the north was saying, are you ready for game 7 or Leafs in 7? So
I like your optimism.
Look, this is what's going to happen. The Leafs are going to win the next 2. Florida's going to win in 6. Just let's be real. It's not going to be the greatest comeback ever. It's not. The Leafs aren't capable of that. Nemesis Prime's in here. Let's go with some Star Wars book. Settle down, sir. Settle down.
Wrong show. Yeah, that's not us.
Yeah. Speaking of Star Wars and Nemesis Prime, guys, if you haven't already, there is some Mad Love. Go to madlove.com. I'm not sure if there's like different things. I think it's madlove.com. They put up a exclusive. So they've got like foil, metal. There's a regular cover as well. So make sure you guys go check it out. Dr. Afra, of course. There's some nudie ones there, but if you're into that, but go check it out. The link is in their profile. They've been talking about it. It's a great book, great design. So make sure you go. I knew you were Iron Man. You're damn right, Ultra. What's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Hope everything's good down there. AOA. Need a reverse series. Iron Man fan said 300 people. Come on, man. I got a freaking tattoo. They have to win. Oh fuck! You know those people. You know those people that get that championship thing where like their teams in the playoffs and they're like Super Bowl champs, whatever. It's like, man, those don't pan out. Like I don't know why people get that shit. I don't know.
Yeah, why don't we ever hear about the ones that pan out?
Because people get it after.
Yeah.
You know how many Bills fans there were this year that had them? One of our buddies actually got one on his leg, and to this day he still has it. And he's like, I'll just change the year to next year. I'm like, they're not gonna win next year either. So
I think that's the most Bills thing you could do.
Oh god, yeah. It's so annoying being in this area close to Buffalo because everyone is a Leaf fan and Bills fan. It's annoying. I can't stand it. It's
and Raptors fans.
Oh, yeah, in that. All right, let's get into some 2099 stuff. Said nobody, because you can still find the Doctor Doom stuff. You can still find the Punisher stuff in dollar bins. This stuff doesn't go anywhere, but we got a first appearance of First Blade 2099. What does that mean? Nothing. Also, what's the math on 2099 minus where we're at? I think it's like 60 years or something like that. Like, we're not that far away.
Yeah, 76 years.
26, yeah. So, like, we're not that far away, but some of this stuff that they kind of, like, think is going to happen in that, like, when you read some of these stories, is like these just, it's insane. So, we're not that far off. But nevertheless, we got a first appearance. I'm staying away from this. There's a few covers. This is probably the one you want. I'm staying as far as possible from this. But, Greg, what about you, man?
There's only, like, one 2099 character that I think the first appearance is more than 40 or 50 bucks, and I think like that's just because it's a rare book, the Moon Knight 2099. But like
that's the white one, right?
It's like white and pink, I think.
Yeah, and it's just, and the cover is literally just the numbers, right?
Yeah.
I remember it heated up when Moon Knight was happening.
Yeah, and that's the only 2099 book I can, other than like the first Spider-Man, but that's just nostalgic. Everybody has one.
Yeah. That means when we will be getting the Blade movie 20.
So, yeah.
Yeah, this rate, man, it's I don't think the people that were like holding on to Blade stuff to like flip, I think they're hilarious. There's this guy on one of the comic groups I follow, and he's just like, he posts every day, and in the description he'll be like, guys, it's happening, don't listen to anything. Like, he's trying to motivate people to like buy it. I think he's trying to motivate himself to like kind of, but like this is a reason why you buy what you love. You don't want to be stuck with things that you don't want. So but
the Blade movie will come. It's at a low, but I still don't think it's a rush to get the books.
No. Tomb of Dracula, I mean, spiked, but like anything else, right? It's dropped. It's come down, and it's probably going to come down a little bit more in the summer, especially now, because when people are kind of like, or they give up, you see those sales that kind of, you know, the give up price, right? So if the book is going for, let's say a 3.0 is going for 900 Canadian, and I have it, and I just want to get rid of it. If somebody offers me 7, I'm going to get 7. And then the market sees, one sold for 7, and then you kind of just redo the market, right? So I think you're going to get that heading into the summer with it. So we'll see. I honestly, Greg, I'll be honest. I might buy that book if it's cheap enough, because I think that I'll be able to like at least double it whenever it happens, 2098 or whatever. So we'll see.
They're really inexpensive right now. If you're willing to drop $1,000, you can get a really nice copy.
Remember, I bought one for $1,000 and flipped it for $1,450 like in 3 days. So it's not bad. Not a bad book. All right. Any books that we maybe missed, Greg, that you maybe are picking up, or maybe that you think are worthy of letting the people know?
I grab my Scotty Youngs, weekly. That's a thing. I think there's a Spider-Man one. But yeah, beyond that, not a ton. I might grab that Joker Inc. book.
Oh God, 2 Scotty Youngs, right? There's the blue one and then the green one, the Venom. Those are the only 2, I think. Did you get both?
Yeah, the Venomverse or whatever
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into some news. Even on the news front, it wasn't that busy. It was a weird week. I don't know. Maybe with new
everybody was watching Guardians.
Yeah, or that. Well, if you watched Guardians, you saw a trailer for Miss Marvel or the Marvels, and you know that, well, Secret Invasion is coming. So Nick Fury is obviously a big part of the Marvels, it seems, and he's going to be a big part of this. Now, sometimes we hear like, oh, the movie's going to be like, 2 hours or whatever. I'm kind of interested in these shows because I was kind of afraid that this show would be like a half-hour thing. I was very disappointed. Then I look back and I see that this show is probably going to be nine episodes, 9 or 10. I can't remember. It's going to be one of the longer ones. So that tells me that it's going to be a lot of things thrown our way. There's going to be a lot of action. There's going to be a lot of twists. I kind of dig it just for that because I was very scared that this was going to be a 30-minute show. And I have flashbacks of what happened with WandaVision, like how slow it was, even though they kind of made it look like it was going to be the biggest thing ever. But what are your thoughts here, man? Does it surprise you that it's going to be an hour?
Makes me happy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I usually expect around the 40, 45-minute mark for shows. And some shows have been different where one episode is 30 minutes and one episode is 50 minutes.
Yeah.
It's kind of been out there, right? I like the consistency, especially if I'm trying to cram it before I go somewhere else, you know what I mean? Just for planning. But yeah, I think this is going to be great. We've been teased a lot about Skrulls, but we haven't seen full-on Skrullness, if that makes sense. So I'm excited for that. A lot of speculation around, who's who. Anybody could be anyone. So yeah, I think it'll be good. So you said it's 9 episodes?
I remember talking about it, and it was like we had like a confirmation that it was either like 9 or 10, but I can't remember because of the whole Loki show as well. Like rumors for both of them kind of come out like right after one another, which always led me to believe like bingo, they both kind of have, connections to one another. But there's a comment here, and I just want to touch on it. Dan, Secret Invasion looks like an edge on your seat, an intense series. And to that point, I'm just going to add what Rocksteady said is that's the beauty of it. But it's also like, Greg, I don't know about you, but like the beauty of not knowing who's who is great. But at the same time, I get like anxiety just being like, I hate this because anybody could be anybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just, I don't know. I'm torn. I do believe that, we're seeing 2, maybe 3 different Nick Furies. Just something. I don't know. There's something about this show. And I think it's probably going to be, dare I say, probably the best show we've had ever. Like what's the best show we've had?
Loki, in my opinion. Loki, yeah. I
don't know. I think this could beat it. I really do.
Moon Knight is a close number 2.
Oh, fuck. Okay. I'm interested to see where this goes. An hour long. I can commit to an hour. I just hate committing to those like half-hour shows, and then it's like, what? That's it?
It doesn't even leave you wanting more. It just leaves you unsatisfied for like 7 weeks.
Dude, I wish you would have saw me like after the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. Like after the first one, I remember looking at my wife and being like, what the fuck was that? Like,
I think we all looked around like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, like
the first episode. I enjoyed WandaVision. It was a nice.
Yeah. God, we'll see. I'm excited for this. Now, obviously, last week we did talk about it, that this is maybe, was slated to come out in June. Now it's maybe getting pushed. There's a lot of things getting pushed again, but again and again. I don't know if it has to do with maybe the Jonathan Majors thing or maybe the writer strike. Not sure, but I'm planning for a few things to kind of be delayed or pushed. once again, but it's normal for us in this hobby. All right, Greg, we talked about Mortal Kombat last week, how Mortal Kombat 2 was getting into production, and we were talking about how Johnny Cage was going to be the focal point. Now, we know that based on the fact that the end credit in Mortal Kombat, which was horrible, by the way. Yeah, I said it. We knew Johnny Cage was going to be the big draw. Now we finally get into who might be playing him, and it is about 90-10. 90% confirmed that it is Karl Urban.
That surprises me so much.
I don't see it at all. Like at all. So basically this guy's going to be like, if not the main character, the number 2 in the movie. And I don't see it at all. I don't know. I'm kind of regretting Mortal Kombat even coming back at this point. What do you think?
I don't know if it's the beard. I don't know. Mortal Kombat just doesn't seem to translate to like film anyways. You know what I mean? Like anything Mortal Kombat that's come out, I've been disappointed in. It's been done by different people. It's kind of been done in different style. All of those, even like Street Fighter, whatever, any of the fighting games, there wasn't enough story, and I don't think people were as into the story. So I don't think it's going to translate anyways. And Karl Urban isn't plastic enough, I feel.
Right? Yes. Yes, that makes total sense, because that's how I was trying to describe it to
like
a few
very
people.
Ken doll. I don't know who I would pick, but yeah, like you have to have like the smooth skin, almost look like you're always wearing makeup. You have the glow, your hair is always perfect.
Yeah, yeah, it's really weird. And you know what is interesting that you had said about like fighting games and kind of that. Hyper, one of the biggest video gamers, he loves this stuff. I know he's more into Street Fighter than Mortal Kombat, but like, you actually talk to some of these people who are more invested in video games, and they're even like, I don't get it. Like, I don't see it. I don't get it. I also think that there's going to be like, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird choice. So the Mortal Kombat craze ended 20 years ago. I love having my 1-up arcade machine, but I doubt I'd watch the movie. And, it is disappointing because from the last movie, I think it was 94 or 95, the second Mortal Kombat, we didn't get anything until 2020. So it was 25 years later, obviously just showing off some math there. I think it was 95. And it was disappointing. Now, I don't know if it was disappointing because we were all at home on, with COVID and stuff like that, but it was disappointing. So now for them to do this, and this is probably not going to come out until 2025, 5 years later, I don't know. This is just a little weird to me. So they first reported Miz from the WWE would be Johnny Cage. He would have been a better choice. See, that I can see, because he's got that like Hollywood, cockiness. Like I could totally see it for sure. He can, but then it takes 10 minutes for him to get back up. All right. Let's switch gears here. We're going DC. So this was big news last week to some. DC promotes Jim Lee to president. Now, who promoted him? Like who promotes it? Is it
the board of directors?
No. Okay. But what I'm saying is like, why him? Why, why are they trying to like get to a certain direction? Are they, like why Jim? And I'm not throwing shade at Jim. I'm just interested to see like, was there any other choices or,
I think Jim Lee is a great choice. I think Jim Lee deserves it. I think he's been in the game forever. He's done big things. He has a good reputation. He knows how to carry himself well. He's more so going to be a face of the company rather than like making big decisions and stuff like that, I imagine. Yeah, I don't mind it, to be honest with you.
So the Derek Jeter of the Marlins, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Just throwing that out there. Big Yankees fan, so I always throw that out there, right?
Go Marlins.
He doesn't own the team anymore. Never did, but you know what I mean. Yeah, no. And again, I wasn't throwing shade at Jim Lee or anything like that. I was just thinking, like, you know, like kind of why or who was, you know, a competition or who was kind of like a close second. You know,
it would be interesting to see like their short list or
right?
like who they asked before Jim Lee, and because I don't think it's necessarily something everybody would want either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said too, right, Greg? Like I was thinking more, it was going to be like kind of like more of the face, but not necessarily big decisions.
Yeah.
You know, I don't see him being like, all right, guys, we're gonna make Batman suit red now. You know, like I just don't think that will never happen. But like, just I don't think that he would have kind of that power. So I don't know. Hyper saying I want Jim Lee to be president just so I can say I took a photo with the president of DC a few years ago. I mean, we've got a picture, and you can say that you took a picture with the president of the Newbieverse.
El Presidente.
El Jefe. Maybe we'll get another reboot. Oh man, I'm so sick of reboots.
Except I like reboot.
Yeah. That could be. Ugh. All right. Man, I don't know how to like start this. This thing has been delayed. This thing had so much hype. If you guys remember back in 2021, everybody and their mother in September, no, it was November. In November was chasing X-Men Avengers #1. The 9.8s were like ridiculously priced. I think they reached like $600 Canadian for a 9.8. Everybody was, you know, oh my God, this is going to happen and this and blah, 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 blah. It's been delayed for like 2 years. We had talked about it, I think like a month ago, where now it's going into like October, not in the summer as it was slated, but now we're getting more news. So we get more news, but we don't get any more like, hey, when's the show coming out? So if you're a Storm or Cyclops fan, Cyclops probably has like 6 fans in the whole world. You're probably going to be excited because they're going to be the main character.
And they're friends with Wonder Man friends.
What?
I said Cyclops fans are friends with Wonder Man fans.
Okay. I thought you meant like Storm and Cyclops are friends with Wonder Man. I was like, wait, what? I don't remember that. Yeah, basically. I don't know. I
like Storm. I like Storm a lot.
Okay, settle down. I hate Cyclops. Like I think Cyclops is one of the corniest characters ever. And I get why he's like the leader and stuff like that, but to make him the like I don't want to watch this like what is it, 12 episodes, 3 seasons, 12 episodes or something like that, or 15 episodes. I don't want to see 3 seasons worth of just Cyclops. Like, come on. How dare they not make Jubilee the oh boy. Greg, when I was out in Edmonton, remember we were at that one shop and they actually were playing the episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had issues, right? And I was watching it for like 5-10 minutes, and I remember I turned around to you and I was like, man, this is terrible. Like it seemed like in the 21-minute episodes, there was maybe like 17 different stories going on. It was insane.
Marvel had like their cartoons were actually pretty horrible. I think the best one was the Silver Surfer one. And that was like even a little old for me when I was watching it.
Yeah, it was pretty old for me too.
But we all watched X-Men. We're like, yeah, this is awesome, but it's bad. But like, even try watching Turtles now. Like there's very few that hold up, like Batman animated and stuff. You know.
Like man, I honestly just think he's so corny. Also, I never understood like the yellow, like the second like it's just everything about it. His suit made no sense.
His bandolier. Or is that like Eunice suspenders?
Yeah, something, man. I don't know. Blue, yellow, redhead. Like, and his power was so stupid. It's not like he had strength or he could fight. It was literally like, like, dude, like enough, right? Like, I don't know. I just thought it was dumb. So, also, I should take this time. To say, you know, if Cyclops is your favorite character and I just destroyed your dreams, I do apologize. I just am not a fan of Cyclops, nor will I ever get into an argument over Cyclops as the best comic book character ever, because I can't have that conversation. It's just a waste of time for me. So just thought I'd throw that out there. He's got leadership powers. Oh.
Yeah, don't underestimate leadership.
I thought Beast was a better leader than him.
Well, Beast, Professor X is kind of the leader. He's just the middleman. Exactly. He's the supervisor.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right. For the news that's been going on since, when did Creed 3 come out? March, February? I can't remember. So Disney Plus is reportedly now eyeing a potential October premiere for Loki 2. Now, I think this is getting pushed just simply because they're maybe trying to figure out, hey, what happens in the summer with Jonathan Majors? More rumors are coming out saying that Marvel is actually, and again, they're just rumors, but they're coming out saying, hey, you know, they're more than likely looking at possibly recasting it, which would suck for him. I think it would suck for pretty much anybody. However, does anybody really remember Terrence Howard as Rhodes? No, yeah. Right? Like movies will pass, shows will pass. If we get a new one, you know, like we got Thanos too. Thanos was recast and nobody blinked an eye, right? So I don't know. I think it could go. I think it'll be a disappointment. I think it'll be a huge, you know, blow to this guy. But at the same time, they can't wait forever, right? So I hope it comes out in the summer. He's a pretty big, prominent name in Loki 2, right? He's gonna show up as Kang. He's gonna show up as a few other people. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. What do you think, man? I think I asked you last time. What do you think the end result here is?
I don't know. So at first I was like, I don't want to say not taking it seriously, but I had doubts that it was going to go anywhere. And now it just keeps lingering, you know, all those issues. I hope it gets worked out. Because of who he is, it wouldn't be the worst thing to recast because he has all the different versions of himself.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't think that'll be a huge issue. I just want more Owen Wilson from this. He was my favorite in the Loki show.
And he's supposed to show up in Deadpool. He's supposed to show up in Loki too. Like Owen Wilson is going to be around for a bit, which I would also recommend, and hint, hint, wink, wink, you know, maybe tell people to go pick up that, you know, Fantastic Four 353 rather, because people don't forget that book in 9/8 exploded when he was, you know, when we had that show. And like the shows, week to week with market, right? Like 1 week, the book could skyrocket, then go down, and then depending on the role, it goes up again. But you go look at the book at what numbers that book was at during the show, and then now where it's at. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing to possibly get a copy, even just for a flip, just to entertain it. I don't know. I might do it. I might risk it, but we'll see.
Get the direct version because it has his picture in the bottom.
Yeah, I remember that was like a topic of conversation too, where people were like, "No, that's the first appearance." It's like, okay. Dre at the Barnhouse Comics. What's going on? Dre saying that would be unfair if they recast Majors. They didn't recast Ezra Miller. What the heck? Or what the hell? It's true, right? And I think I was reading somebody had said, I think it was from the studio from DC, they had said once you watch, I can't remember who it was, but they had said once you watch The Flash, you're going to forget all about Ezra Miller and his issues. And I go, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Like you can't like just brush shit off, you know, like he kidnapped kids and he had like guns and he was like, you know, he was a fucked up dude. So I think this is completely different, but we'll see. I know Dan had said the current evidence seems to be in Jonathan Majors' favor in the courts. I haven't been following it at all. I just know that there was a few directors and co-workers of his on set that said like he was very physical or abusive or something like that. So I don't know. What if they used Terrence Howard to recast him? Greg, would you like to see Terrence Howard as Kang?
I would like a no-name person. I
Yeah.
like somebody who hasn't acted, and I don't see them in a different role.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves. Yeah, for sure.
Keanu Reeves says everyone.
I got an FF 353 near mint in a dollar bin last year. Yeah, it's because once it's over, once it's not in your face, the John Cena effect, it's cheap. It's nothing. Disney is likely more protective of their image than Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
100%, 100%. But I do think that that's the reason why it gets pushed. I really do. Like we've literally, Greg, if we look back in the last month, we've literally had 3 different dates on when the show was going to be released. June, July, September. Now we're looking into October. It's not a coincidence. It's not.
And like Hyper's right too, right? Like DC, okay, so say they have to reshoot everything because they get rid of Ezra Miller. Like, it sucks that DC gets punished for that. You know what I mean? Different companies have hired people who haven't worked out, who weren't what they expected, and the punishment doesn't come down like that. So it's a bigger decision than people make it out to be.
And
right? That's a million upon $1 million decision.
Yeah, and I'm not like in the movie business or filming or directing or act. I mean, I could act. Actually, if anybody wants to, listen to my screenplay, I've got a script. We could make it into a movie. It's called The Locksmith, and it's a horror. So I'm just saying. But I would assume that recasting something like that with those budgets, and I think it was just released, I think on Sunday or Monday, I read that The Flash was like $260 million to make or something like that. It was like one of the most expensive ones to ever make. Like you said, right? Like recasting, going back, fixing it, however way you can fix it with CGI or whatever, like, or reshooting the whole thing. That's not going to be cheap, especially with people's schedules and things like that. Like, it's going to cost you way more. And odds are, let's be real, if anyone out there is a Flash fan, let's be real. The Flash is not going to break records. It's not going to be like this crazy $1 billion thing. I just don't see it. Is it going to be a good movie? I think it will be. But I don't know, man. I think it's going to be all over the place too. I'm looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong. It's just my expectations for it are pretty low, I would say.
I hope we get like a Dark Knight effect, because Dark Knight, I think, was the last really big DC movie in my opinion. Like Wonder Woman, the first one was pretty good, but like I think Dark Knight was the one that kind of went down as like that's the movie. So I hope this does this.
The one thing that I always take away from Wonder Woman is, remember when Gail is at that like fancy restaurant and she's at that party and she's in the blue dress and she's got the sword like in between her crack?
That didn't stand. I don't remember.
What? That's always like the one scene that I think about, because I'm like, how is she moving and not cutting herself?
She's Wonder Woman.
I mean, I think she would get cut or something. I don't know. It's just weird. But I just always think of that scene where she's, yeah.
You always think that's like he's just laying wide-eyed in bed.
I know there's people out there that know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe TikTok videos don't count as screenplays. Listen, I had a major role as the main police officer in the Phantom of the Opera in grade 6. I had one line, but I had the whole stage to myself. I went out on stage and I said, "There he is," and then it went. Like, that was it. The shitty part is
he knows a thing or two about theater.
Exactly. And I had to get the right, because people would know, like, I can't be like too high, I can't be too low. Like, it was kind of like, there he is, and I have to like project and actually sell the fact that like, there he is. So, I know a little thing or two about acting. Plus, I played soccer my whole life, so I know a bit or two about acting. Okay, so all right, Greg, we've come to the end, sir. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Do we have time to spit Guardians for 5?
Oh yeah. Let's talk Guardians, man. Forget you.
Okay, so if people want spoilers, yeah.
All right. I think we should spoil it. I don't know. I think
No, I'm just saying if people don't want spoilers, arrivederci.
Is anybody against it? Because I would like to talk about Guardians. I definitely would love to talk about Guardians right now. So yeah, like Greg said, if anybody doesn't want spoilers, I would suggest leaving. I appreciate you hanging out. But let's talk Guardians of the Galaxy, Greg. Where do you want to start off? Or first of all, why don't I start off by asking you, what grade would you give the movie out of 10?
Okay, so I came out of there, I think, with a higher grade, and as it settled in, it got a little bit lower. I think I'm around a 7.5 to 8.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. That's probably the lowest I've seen. So I'm interested to see. Okay. So, elaborate. What's going on?
So I think the biggest reason for that is I feel they made a joke out of a lot of characters throughout this movie that had, like, Mantis was like hard to take seriously. Drax was hard to take seriously. Like, I understand it's a comedy and they did have these flaws, but this was the redemption movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, even Nebula in this one wasn't as badass as I thought, but I don't know. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I like the storyline, and I like the finish there.
So I 100% agree with you with the mockery of the characters. I thought it was interesting how they made Mantis. They overdid the whole Drax is stupid thing too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, where it was just kind of like, okay, we get it. There was a few times in the movie where I was like shaking my head. I'm like, okay, we get it. Why do they keep saying he's stupid, right? And then you wonder why the guy doesn't want to play the role anymore and wants to go into more serious role. Nebula has been a character that I thought was a badass character throughout her existence in the MCU. And I thought that she, not to say it's a bad thing, and I don't think that her character was necessarily mocked. But I do think that she had a bigger role than I think most people expected in the movie. She kind of had that like second tier, second in command, the group kind of respected her. And probably because Rocket wasn't around, obviously.
And Gamora's not around.
Yeah, and Gamora's not around. Here's where it kind of got weird for me. I was never a big Rocket the Raccoon fan. Like not the biggest. I didn't really care for him too much. And then I kind of fell for it. I kind of fell for Rocket. Like I left the movie being like, should I be buying his first appearance? Like I really like the character.
That's because you're a cat dad now.
Okay, so that's exactly what I said to my wife. I turned, and there's that scene where like Rocket is just like a little raccoon or whatever, and the whole time I went to my wife and I was like, "That's Lola," and she's just like, "What?" But like the whole time I was seeing Rocket, I was actually seeing my cat. It was so weird. Yeah. But I kind of ended up liking Rocket a bit more. Now, I am no stranger to crying at like really crazy sad movies. Iron Man, I had some tears in my eyes. Whatever. I'm okay to admit it. I don't care. I will say, I had to like bite my tongue when they killed Layla.
Lila. Teefs and floor.
Yeah, like that. I was like, holy shit.
That was gruesome, yeah.
Yeah. And then when Rocket is kind of like near death, right? Like in that white whatever, and she comes out, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Especially with all the rumors going in, right? Like all the rumors were that Rocket dies. So we're like, there was a lot of it where I was like, okay, is this like happening now? Is this happening now?
Yeah. Now here's the other thing too. Now here's the other thing too, Greg. Perfect that you mentioned it because I totally just forgot about it as I was rambling there. We were told that 3 characters were basically going to go. We didn't know how they were going to go. We just assumed they're going to be killed off. The whole movie I was watching, I was thinking, how are they going to kill? Because in my mind, the 3 that they were going to kill were Drax, Gamora, and I thought it was probably going to be Mantis, right? The whole movie, I'm thinking, oh my God, how are they going to kill these people? I thought Drax was going to die when they shot him. And then I thought Mantis was going to die when those big creatures were there. I literally thought she was going to touch it and then they were just going to eat her. Right?
Imagine that.
And then it never happened. And I was like, oh, okay. So like as much as like these characters are gone, like Dave Bautista, Zoe, what's her name, and the one that plays Mantis said they're never playing this role again. Like they're done with it. They didn't really kill them off, so the window is, or the door is always open for them to come back. I don't know. Biggest disappointment for you, what was it? Character-wise.
Character-wise. To be honest, probably Drax.
Ooh, okay. I wasn't going. Okay, why? Why?
Just because they softened him up too much. Like he's Drax the Destroyer, you know. And I get they want to say he has a heart, and yes, I want to hear them say like he's a good father and all that. But the whole time he should just be smashing more. Like he should be more Hulk than Star-Lord.
Yeah. Biggest disappointment for me was Adam Warlock. I was expecting a bit more. I kind of understood the way they were going. Similar to kind of how I feel like Phyla Vell, spoiler, because she's in it. So maybe that's why Captain Marvel 17 is spiking and people aren't realizing why. At the end credit, you know, the blonde girl is Phyla Vell. So she's on the new team. But just the way they did Adam Warlock, and I get it, he's supposed to be like this baby, this creature, and they talk about it. I don't know. I was kind of like disappointed because they made him like super stupid too. Like I felt like
that's what I mean. They dumbed everything down. Everything was not, and I don't like too serious, but I feel like the balance went too far that way.
Yeah. The other thing that like I got the whole Peter, like they clearly made, you know, Peter Quill to be obviously like the face and everything. And like he had a more serious role. I thought it was like, he wasn't as goofy as in the past.
He was the most serious of the bunch, which was
strange. Everybody else was more goofy. I do have to say though, and I can't pronounce the name, so like I don't want to butcher it or like, you know, offend anybody, but the guy that played High Evolutionary, I think did a great job with that role. I thought he did really well. Like he sold me on him being that crazy. But again, a great villain that you just kind of kill off like super early. Like I feel like
High Evolutionary I can understand because he's not, I wouldn't say he's a super villain. Like
no, but you could have continued it on just simply because he is a god. He's created all these like species, so like it would have been kind of cool to see like, okay, well, what other stuff do you got going on, right? Like that's just where my thought process went.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and like let's be honest, we didn't get a sex scene like Eternals, but we did get our first F-bomb. There was a few swear words, and then you actually got to see like that gruesome part where
his face was ripped off.
His face was off, and I remember looking at my wife to be like, "Oh, I mean,
and the deaths of the animals."
Yeah. Well, they were saying, I was reading a few articles and a few things that like if you were an animal lover, you're probably not going to enjoy the movie. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, well, wait a minute, I'm a cat dad, like, you know,
animal guy.
I don't know, but I did think that this movie did make me appreciate Rocket a bit more. And I don't know why. Maybe it was just the heat of the moment or whatever. But at the end, you know, when he's in that white space with Lila again, where she says, "It was always about you." I was just like, what? You know, I had like goosebumps. And then, you know, so the one part that I think is overlooked too, if you know anything about the movies, and Rocket is the fact that like obviously he doesn't think he's a raccoon, but there is that scene where he sees those baby raccoons and he's reading the names, and then it says most common name raccoon, and then the music kicks in and he just kind of changes his face, so he's kind of like, you know, accepted the fact that he's a raccoon. I thought that was kind of cool.
That he says it at the end, Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, so I thought that was like pretty dope. And yeah, before we take off, Greg, what do you think about the new team? So the first end credit scene. So we've got
so the new team is Adam Warlock, Rocket Raccoon. Who else? So
Phyla-Vell, Groot, Cosmo, and then that hick white Ravager guy.
The Yondu.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like not canon. Like Annihilators, I think, is the closest to that. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like that team is a long ways away. Like if they ever do anything with it, I think now they're just there as support characters for big movies, big events.
Yeah,
but I don't see that being a headliner, right? So I don't know.
You got Rocket, you got Groot, and you got Adam Warlock. From my understanding, and you know, when Adam Warlock was announced, there were people, you know, with some sources, with some inside information that had said, you know, Adam Warlock is here to stay. Adam Warlock is going to be a big player down the road. So who knows? I just think that they're going to go that route in the sense of, and same with Phyla-Vell. Look at what they did with Groot. Right? They kind of made him like the baby, the little, and then, you know, every movie he was either like a teenager or whatever, and they liked it. There's that markability there. So maybe they do the same thing with Phyla-Vell. Maybe they do something with Cosmo. I don't think you're going to get a show with Cosmo or a movie or anything like that, but
I think the next time we see them will be Secret Wars, probably.
Yeah, I think so too. Because there's nothing that team could do. You can't do that as a movie, right? And there's no plans to make a Guardians 4 ever. So
yeah, it's a tough follow-up, right?
Yeah. I personally, just because you asked so genuinely and so nicely, I would give it.
Oh, you're gonna say I didn't ask because I thought you were trying to avoid saying.
I'm gonna give it an 8. And excuse me. And I thought giving it an 8 was gonna put me on like a cross and people were gonna start throwing rocks at me. But after you said 7.5, I'm feeling pretty good. Putting it at 8. Because so many people like right on Thursday were like 9.5, 9.2, and I'm like, that good, eh?
I was like that too when I got out of the theater, and then I kind of sat back and I'm like, yeah, it was missing something.
That's what my wife said, and my wife said like she loved Guardians, and that's why I went with her, because this was the first, like, in her terms, like dork movie that she wanted to go see, that I didn't have to force her. So I waited till Monday to go see it with her, and I asked her, I said, listen, like, you like these movies, what did you think? And the first thing she said, she's like, it's missing something. It's something's like, it just still feels like it's not finished. And I was like, oh, okay, that's an interesting point. And yeah, that was pretty much it. I don't know. So we'll see. Newbie is a softie. Oh yeah, 100%. I'm softie. I only cry in the shower and in the ocean. You two are nuts. 9.5 easy.
Something in both of my eyes.
I think 7.5 is fair and agreeable. Yeah, I'm saying 8.5. And guys, let's be honest. I gave Moon Knight 5. So let's be real.
But that's like, yeah, that's not a far gap, you know. I think everything, like, yeah, nothing has been a 2. This isn't DC.
Yeah. I can't wait for my Flash. I mean, Spider-Verse is next, right? Spider-Verse is June 2nd.
When Marvels?
What?
Marvels.
No. For June 1st, Spider-Verse, and then the Flash is like June 19th or something like that, I think. It's like we get both of those in June. So that's first. Marvel's is November. if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. Yeah. So we got a few things, but yeah, you threw me off there. I was like, what? So I will say this. So they do show that trailer in the movie. My wife goes to me, she goes, seriously? And I was like, do you want to go see that? And she's like, no, it looks terrible. And I was like, okay. So at the end of the movie, we're walking to the car, and the first thing she said was, she goes, I still can't believe they're doing that Marvels thing. What are they thinking? And I was like, damn, like she clearly does not hate it. AOA's got a super chat here. What is he saying? AOA, may syrup spill on both your pants.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Because like when it dries, it goes like hard. Doesn't even like stay sticky. It's just like then you got a hard, itchy spot on your pants.
That's what she said. But AOA, I appreciate the super chat, man. You're always here. You're always supporting. So I do appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Swaggle House. Def, the second best Phase 4/5 movie behind Spider-Man 3, though that doesn't say much. I would go see this one again. I don't think I would go see Spider-Man again. Yeah. Or Doctor Strange. I wouldn't see either of those again, but I would see this one again. Just because I feel like I was expecting this massive goodbye and deaths and stuff. So maybe the second time I go, I might enjoy it a little bit more, marinate it. Like our buddy BC, who's there again, watching it for
second. It'll be interesting what his thoughts are the second go around.
So I'm interested because his first thought was, he said it was perfect. He said, I think a 9.5 out of 10. So
9 or 9.5.
Yeah. I'm going to ask him tonight when he gets home. So Daniel is saying my Marvel top 3 are first Iron Man. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. First Avengers. Yeah, that one's up there. Infinity War. Ragnarok was fun. Everything else, I'm meh. I mean, I don't know if I want to say this because AOA is in here, but two of my favorite, and I would say they're probably in my top 5. Let's say top 10 because I don't want people to be like, what? I would say Winter Soldier is up there.
Okay.
That one is probably top 5, and then Civil War. Civil War was great. Yeah. Even though I don't think it's a Captain America movie, I think it's a Iron Man / Cap movie. Captain America.
The first Ant-Man for me is probably my favorite.
First Ant-Man's up there too, and people always laugh at me like, "You're an idiot." I'm like,
"Yeah,
okay."
I think that was brilliant. The heist movie, all day.
So, all right, Greg, time to say goodbye for this week. So, Greg, let them know, man. Where can they find you?
Here comes my plug. Dark Star this Sunday. If you're in the Edmonton area, come by the little comic show I put on. We got some local artists. We got about 24 tables set up. So it's going to be awesome. I know there's lots of new collections coming, so that's always fun. It's almost all comics. So catch me outside. Rocksteady Collectibles on Instagram. If you're in the Edmonton area, all the information's there.
Yeah, and look at the numbers, guys. He's almost at 1,000 followers. Go follow him. Go tell your mom.
I think I'm way over that. I think this is the same image you've had for a while.
Oh, damn. Okay, so you're going to be close to 1,000.
I'm at least at 786.
Okay, well, I'm going to send all the bots that I paid for to go to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Your YouTube shorts, if you could send them my way.
Yeah, for sure. Great. Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks to Sis, by the way, on that. But that's awesome. And guys, obviously our friend is not here, but Blakk Crown Comics. Make sure to go follow him. As you can see, he's a member of the Newbieverse and Comic Kingpins as well. So make sure to go. Wait with the super chat. I knew it. Newbie loves Captain America. Listen, I thought
if there's one thing I know is Newbie will love anything for $2.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Look, AOA, I said it because I thought you were gone, okay? Like,
he's still here.
All right, gang. That was show 126. go enjoy New Comic Book Day tomorrow. If you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, make sure to go watch it. And that's pretty much it, man. I was gonna say something. I didn't get a chance to say it last week, and it's kind of hard to do. But last week was obviously like the 3-year anniversary of the channel, so it was the birthday. I didn't really. I think it was too excited, and there was a lot going on. But a lot of people to thank for watching, not even just coming on, but watching, hanging out, supporting, liking everything, super chats, all that stuff. So I do want to thank everybody. There's a lot of people that have let me on their shows or their channels or helped me in some way. So I do want to thank you. Didn't get a chance to do it last week. So just wanted to say thank you. It's too many to name, but thank you. All right. Those are my last words. Anything for you, Greg?
You're welcome. Peace.
Fucking guy. Later, guys.